Metabolism will be overwhelming and confusing when you look at it as separate pathways. You are trying to memorize each pathway on its own, and you are not able to see the purpose behind each metabolism or metabolic pathway, and you don't see the beautiful interconnection between these different pathways. That is part of the reasons why some metabolic processes look complicated, or the students always feel overwhelmed when they are dealing with. In this video, I wanted to share with you one of the sides of the beautifulness of metabolic integration. I wanted to look at the process of energy extraction from food. Energy extraction from food happens through four main stages. These stages, the first one is digestion. So when we are consuming food, this food will be digested in our digestive system, and the digestion process ends by finally converting the macromolecules or energy containing molecules in our food into their simple building blocks. So carbohydrates are converted into monosaccharides, mainly glucose. Proteins are converted into amino acids, and lipids are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. So the first stage is simply converting these macromolecules into their simpler forms, into their building blocks. After that, these building blocks will be absorbed into the bloodstream and transported into our body cells. Inside our cells, the second stage of the process of energy extraction from food takes place. So this stage is basically composed of several pathways that are converting these building blocks into a common intermediate. Each of these building blocks that we have talked about will go through specific pathway that will end up in producing a common metabolic molecule. The common metabolic molecule will be acetyl-CoA. So let us look at, for example, glucose will be undergoing glycolysis that will produce two molecules of pyruvate that will eventually be converted into acetyl-CoA. Fatty acids will be undergoing beta oxidation and will be converted into acetyl-CoA. Amino acids, the situation is a little bit different. Some amino acids will be converted into acetyl-CoA, while other amino acids will be converted into intermediates of the what we call intermediates of the third stage. So some amino acids will be like every other every other building block. Some amino acids will be converted into acetyl-CoA, but some will be converted into intermediates of the third stage, which is the TCA cycle. From that, we will go into the third stage. The third stage is called the Krebs cycle, citric acid cycle, or TCA cycle. This cycle is basically converting acetyl-CoA into carbon dioxide. Acetyl-CoA is a 2 carbon molecule, and it will be converted into each of these carbon molecules will be producing a carbon dioxide. So 2 molecules of carbon dioxide will be generated in TCA cycle. One important thing is the second stage is taking place in the cytosol, while the third stage is now, and the fourth stage will be in the mitochondria. We talked about the first stage is taking place in the digestive system. The second stage is taking place in the cytosol, while the third and fourth stages are happening in the mitochondria. So TCA cycle converts acetyl-CoA into 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. In that process, molecules, electron carriers called NAD and FADH will be converted into NADH and FADH2. So they will be carrying electrons and hydrogen ions, removing them from the acetyl-CoA and carrying them. Basically, the cycle ends with what it has started with. The cycle starts with oxaloacetate combining with acetyl-CoA, and as the cycle moves, the acetyl-CoA will be converted into carbon dioxide. 2 molecules of carbon dioxide will be generated from it, and we will finally recover our oxaloacetate. So the process is like removing the carbons from the acetyl-CoA to generate carbon dioxide, and removing electrons and hydrogen ions from the substrate, which is basically acetyl-CoA, although it is going through combining with the oxaloacetate and getting converted into several intermediates. But these hydrogens that initially were with acetyl-CoA and the electrons will be removed and carried by NADH and FADH2. Also, this cycle is interconnected to other pathways like the process of gluconeogenesis. Some of these intermediates are part of the process of gluconeogenesis. So the switch is based on several factors like the energy availability and the concentration of these intermediates. It will determine whether the process will favor the TCA cycle or it will favor the gluconeogenesis cycle, whether it goes toward catabolism or it goes toward anabolism. So as you see, energy extraction from food is catabolic process, while process like gluconeogenesis is anabolic process. The fourth stage, which is the last stage of process of energy extraction from food, is what we call electron transport chain. Electron transport chain is like a series of proteins, specific proteins, that these electron carriers that we talked about, NADH and FADH2, coming whether from TCA cycle or coming from earlier pathways, will be transferring electrons and hydrogen ions, and these electrons will be passing through these proteins, and the flow of these electrons, the energy coming from the flow of these electrons, will help in synthesis of ATP. So that is the end of our discussion. We were talking about how the process of energy extraction from food is well integrated process, something that you can very easily go along with, understand it, and appreciate the importance and the beautifulness of this process. Thank you for watching.